What's going on, guys? Spikezillion here, back with another video. And today we're going to be talking about something that I'm really proud of and I really want you guys to be part of. And it is called La Liga de Exodia. Uh, it is something that I have done in the past with Pokemon. It is something that I've had a lot of history with in the Pokemon community, particularly with some friends of mine and things like that. And I want to expand it beyond that with Yu-Gi-Oh! And this is the first of its kind, as far as I know. I don't think anyone's ever tried to do this, like a draft league style for Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm very excited to share this all with you. It's been sort of a long time coming, and it's something I've wanted to do for a while. And we're going to talk about it today. So first, we'll go over the rule set. Now, I have it in a separate tab here. The rule set is super simple. All you really do is you're going to have a snake draft. So basically what's going to happen is there's going to be like probably 10 different teams or more, depending on how many people sign up. Those number of players, they will each be drafting decks. They're going to be drafting 10 total decks from varying tiers. The drafting order is determined randomly. So it's completely random if you're going to get really good luck or not. This is the tier list, actually, right here. And so we have a tier list of so many decks, like a stupid amount of decks. And whatever amount that is available in this tier is the amount of people that we can have. It looks like we have 26. Unless I move some decks up or something. I don't know if we can have more than 26 players, but I don't know if we'll have more than 26 players. Who knows? At least not for the first format. So yeah, there you go. You have 26 available players effectively. One person's going to get stuck with Numeron in the top tier because fuck you, I don't want to deal with that shit. But anyways, yeah, here we are. This is the tier list. And so effectively what will happen is that everyone will get a freebie of one of each tier. So you'll get one of each tier, with the exception of this tier. You'll either pick the purple or the blue, depending on what you choose, and you'll get all of these for free. So you'll have 6 total free decks, right? From red to the blue. The purple is also technically part of the blue. So you can pick between the 75 or the 50 column. However, there's also 4 more decks to purchase with the 500 points that you're allotted. So, if you can see up here, there's 300 here, so it's 300 points for one of these decks if you want to get this in addition to what you already got for free. So you could do like 300, and then you'd be stuck with getting like, what? That would be 275s and then a 50. Or you could do like 300 and then 350s, that kind of thing. Or you could do something that I think most people will probably do, and they'll probably go for the yellow range, give or take, and they'll pick like a 200, and then they'll pick like 3 100s, or they'll pick like a 200 and a 150, a 100 and a 50. You know what I mean? Like these sorts of situations will come up, and so you have to make your decision based on what's available here. I think I did a pretty good job balancing it, all things considered. I did discuss it amongst quite a few different people, got a lot of different opinions, and this is where we landed. Now, a lot of them might seem wonky. Like, you'll look at something like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a really good example, like Adamantipator, and thinking like, oh, in this current format, Adamantipator is not very good. Why is it this high? And that's a great question, because there are 2 things to note. One, we have a custom ban list. And you may notice in this custom ban list that there's a lot of cards, first of all, and there's a good reason for it. I will explain, okay? Don't click away yet. I will explain. But you might see Block Dragon is limited in this format. That was a executive decision that I made. And so I put Adamantipator higher. Mostly I wanted Block Dragon to be higher because I wanted some other rock decks to be able to have the ability to use it. Adamantipator is just kind of the unfortunate part of it because they do kind of want to abuse the shit out of it, so it is what it is. There's a couple other cards in here that are limited that aren't normally. I believe Harpor is at 3 these days, and I put it to 1. Again, these are arbitrary for the most part. Most decks aren't going to worry about these, but some of them will. And so, like, you have stuff like Ronin Toadin is back to legal, but I banned Toad. And again, there's a good reason for it. I'll get to it, okay? There's a good reason why I've made a couple of these decisions. Like Ice Jade Adrian, you're looking at that and like, what the hell is this? Okay, we're going to get to that right now. So the reason why is because if you play a deck, I don't know if I actually put it in here. I think I did somewhere. This is a lot of stuff, so I'm just gonna try to explain everything here. If you pick a deck, let's say you picked Tearlaments, right? So normally, Tearlaments, you can see Merly is banned, right? Ooh, shocking. And Kick Kalos, right? These are kind of crazy. But if you pick Tearlaments, you get 3 copies of everything. Correct. I'm not joking. You will have unlimited tier. So it is probably the best deck in the format. Like, hands down, right? This is the one to get, is Tearlaments. This or like maybe Super Sam, because you're gonna, or not Super Sam, 6 Sam, right? Because you're getting triple gates, right? In Runic, you're getting triple Fountain. Cash, you're getting triple Arise Heart, right? Like these crazy, wacky things. However, if you're not playing the archetype, you're looking at this ban list, right? And so you're thinking, okay, so I don't get Dark Dragoon unless I'm playing Red Eyes, right? This is how I get Red Eyes. Or this is how I get Dark Dragoon. Is I get Red Eyes, right? Oh, I can't play Lacrima, but I can play it if I get Fiendsmith, right? And this is sort of what you're looking at. And that's why Fiendsmith Engraver's here, because I don't want to see Fiendsmith Engraver in every fucking deck in the game. I'm sorry, I don't want to see it. No, thank you. But you'll notice that I didn't hit Tracked, so Tracked will be available to you. And so, you know, something like Lightsworn, for example, can still take advantage of Fiendsmith Tracked. So there's still stuff to be had, and there's a little bit of nuance here, like Samori I put back to 1, so a lot of the Wing Beast decks can take advantage of it. Tri-Brigade is going to take advantage of it for sure. Electromite's here, which means pen decks are going to be a lot better, so I moved them up a handful of tiers. A couple other ones in here that you might notice and see and be like, that's kind of weird. But there's a good reason for it, right? I want to see how much we can flourish this, and this will be a good test run, right? Because we're going to have multiple different seasons. So once this first season goes by, we'll see what really needs to be hit and see what needs to change, and we'll fix that stuff as we go along. But I think at this time, this is pretty good. It's pretty airtight. Again, a lot of feedback went into this before I released this video, and so I have taken a lot of liberties here, but a lot of people have agreed with what's come up on the list so far. So yeah, that being said, you might be wondering, okay, but how am I going to get these decks if I'm not playing the archetype? Well, good question. There is the generic card shop. And so here's how this works. Every week, you're going to receive $50. The $50 can go towards these items, right? So you have like Ash Blossom, you have Lancia, Block Dragon, Bistal Druis Worm, you have like Clockwork Knight, the spell, you have Eclipse Twins, right? Gigantic Sprite, things like that. And these are $10 a pop, right? Anything not on the list is 50 cents, right? So anything that's not in here, if you do Control F, by the way, you can search whatever. So if you want to search, I don't fucking know, Kaiyo Getsu, it's not on here. And so it's 50 cents to purchase Kaiyo Getsu. Or like, you know, if I want to search Time Tearing Morganite, you might have to do hyphen tearing. There you go. And there you go. It's $8. Time Tearing Morganite is $8 a copy. You can buy that, right? And so you look for the cards you want in here, or you pay 50 cents for each copy of those cards, right? That are not on the list. And so this is sort of where you're going to go to buy all your other stuff. Now, again, let's remind you, though, that if you bought Tearlaments, right, you can't use them in the Dark World deck, and you can only use each deck once per week. So effectively what's going to happen is or once per match. So what's going to happen is that, let's say your opponent you chose Tearlaments for, right? 2 weeks later when you fight your third opponent, you can't pick Tearlaments again, and you're not going to have those Tearlament cards. You have to buy them again if you want to use them again. So let's say, you know, you really want to use Shiren in like a Shadal deck, and you also bought the Shadal deck, right? You would have to buy the Shiren separately. Even if you own the Tearlaments deck in your draft, you still have to purchase it, which is what's making this very interesting, because it really limits your options in such a way that I think hand traps are going to be kind of opted out for the most part. We'll see about that. I'm not 100% sure. I think board breakers will end up being very strong in this format, but we'll see because I think it's going to be a very interesting testing ground. And anything that we think might end up wanting to change later, we can change later. So that's that. You know, the generic card shop is here and available to you. And again, anything you purchase, you can even let us know in the Discord what you've purchased. So that way it's done and out of the way, and logistically we can get that all figured out. And so yeah, it doesn't really tell you that much about like what you're going to play, because inevitably you're going to play these sort of strategies together anyways. Like if you buy tier, you're probably going to buy Shadal's anyways, because it's just their purchases overlap anyway. They just make sense. So like, you know, things like let's say like the Shizu shufflers would make sense. I'm trying to think. What's that stupid card called? The Perform Age guy, Trick Clown, right? Like these things overlap in some way, shape, or form. So it'll just make sense. Speaking of which, I don't think I put Super Poly on here yet. I don't even know if I hit Super Poly, but I might actually need to get hit a little bit. But anyway, so yeah, this is sort of what we're looking at. And so, yeah, I think it's very interesting. Now, for the ban list, there's additional cards. Now, these are the only exceptions that I've found so far that we have hit in addition to these rules. So, even if you are playing the Lightsworn archetype, I am still banning Curious, because Curious is way too good. I'm sorry, I have to. It's so good. Because you could still send a tier monster with it. It's just too easy. So I had to ban Curious. I had to ban Snow. And so, you know, Fairy Tail's pretty bad. And so maybe if anything, I might take Snow out, because I think like Fairy Tail's already really bad as it is. So I might honestly take Fairy Tail Snow out. We'll see. I'll have to discuss it with a couple people and see what's going on. But yeah, I don't think it's a surprise that True King of All Calamities is being taken out, because it's just a lame machine. Same thing with Rongo. I don't think that anyone would like to face that. It's pretty lame. And then these guys are limited to one copy, which I think will be interesting. So for Millennium, we have all the Exodia pieces. Gem Knight Master Diamond, so you could technically still do the FTK, but you would have to work a lot harder for it. Zen Mighty, or Zen Matey, I think would be interesting, because again, kind of similar situation as Master Diamond, you just have to work really hard to go crazy with it. And then Beatrice, Lady of Eternal, because I think that BA should at least have the ability to use Beatrice at least once in their combos. So yeah, these are the only exceptions to all the rules that we have. Everything else is fine. Although, again, I might change Fairy Tail Snow. We'll see. But, of course, that is the main things to go over. Now, okay, let's say you don't have enough money in the card shop. You want a little bit more, right? Let's say, you know, you want a little bit more than $50 for the first week at least. What you can do is, and I forgot to mention this until now, let's say you have 500 points to spend, and you only spend it on like 200 and then like 3 75s. Like you don't actually pick 3 100s and equal exactly 500. Let's say you only hit, 425 points. So what will happen is you'll actually receive $1 per point that you have remaining. So if you have 75 points remaining, like in this example, you will receive an additional $75 to use on the generic card shop. So it kind of gives people incentive to play lower tier decks. I didn't want to go too hard with it, because I originally had it as $2 per 1 point. I thought it was a little bit too much, because you could technically just go really, really low and just have crazy amounts of money to buy all the broken shit for every deck, and I feel like that would just defeat the purpose of the format. So I made it so it's $1 per 1 point, and that should be pretty much right on the money in terms of balancing. And it feels right, based on what I've been able to come up with. It feels right. So, you know, for the sake of the draft, let's say we put some stuff together. So, you know, if I'm Spikezillion, naturally I would want to pick Harpies, so Harpies is going to be in here. So let's just for the sake of argument, let's scratch that out. And then for top tier, we're going to go with Malice, because Malice is cool. I like Malice. For A tier, I don't know. Let's see. What do I think looks interesting to me? I like Lightsworn. Lightsworn's my second favorite deck. I'll cut that out. And then for myself, now obviously keep in mind that it's a snake draft, which means that you would have to wait for your turn. But when it does come to your turn, that's when you can pick your deck, and hopefully you don't get sniped. You will get sniped. It will happen. I've seen it before with Pokemon. It's inevitable. You will get sniped. However, that's why we have backups on backups on backups for everybody, right? Everybody's got to have backups on backups on backups because you got to make sure that you're going to be able to be covered. You're not going to get exactly what you want unless you're lucky as shit. Let's say for this tier, I don't know. What looks interesting to me? I guess, whatever. Mimighoul, I guess. Sure, whatever. I don't care. Mimighoul it is. And then, actually, never mind, I lie. Valence is sick. We're picking Valence. My bad. And then, anyway, Harpy's already picked for free. And then the turquoise tier here, the light blue. I don't know. Maybe Dragoonity would be cool. Melfi's kind of fun. Let's pick Melfi. Sure. We'll pick Melfi. And then in the lowest tiers between these two, I mean, share if you play, right? Share if you play Gravekeepers. We're going to pick Gravekeepers. So there we go. That's my 6 freebies. And then I get 500 points to choose between all these tiers now. And so, okay, well, I might as well go big or go home. So I'll pick Kashtira. So I lose 300 points right there. And then let's say for the rest of it, I want to save as much money as possible. So I just pick garbage because I'm a psychopath. So we'll go Phantom Beast, sure. We'll pick some Morg because, they're cool. And then, I don't know, we'll pick Wind Witch, I guess. That sounds like ass. Let's just do it. That sounds like fun. Excellent. So now we have spent 450 points to get all 10 decks all together. And so I have 50 points left, which means in the generic card shop, I will now have $100 for the first week. Just for the first week. Not every week, just for the first week. You get $100, which is awesome. Then the following week, I will receive another $50. So every week, you will receive another 50. So that's awesome, right? Because now for the first week, I can go crazy. Okay, let's say I get 3 copies of Ash. So I'll put 3 here. I'm going to actually tally up what people buy because I want to see that for the data's sake. So I'm going to tally it all up for myself mostly more than anything. But yeah, 3 Ash Blossoms. I'll purchase 3 Ashes. So that's $30. Because that will never go away. That will never lose its merit. And, maybe, I don't know, Dangers sound pretty good. I mean, if I'm playing Harpies, I kind of want to play, I kind of want to go crazy. Let's see. We want some Border Breakers, maybe. Where's Ultimate Slayer? Ultimate Slayer. I gotta use my search tool here. I'm gonna do Control F, Ultimate Slayer. Okay, it's a top tier card. That's okay. I have $100. So now we have $40 left. So 3 Ultimate Slayer. And then at this point, now I want to relax a little bit because now I've went kind of crazy. So now I get everything else as 50 cents a copy. And I go crazy on a bunch of little baby things. Maybe a couple big things here and there. Do you understand what's going on here? Like, it's going to take a lot of thinking, right? We're going to take probably about a week before we begin because people are going to have to really think about what they want to do with their decks and what they want to buy and build. So this is sort of that concept being thrown out into the world here. And I think it'll be very interesting, especially for the top tier decks. I'm very interested in seeing what people are going to do with them. But hopefully this gives you an idea of what we're talking about here. So, again, if I did want to play Kashtira in my Harpy deck, I have picked Kashtira. However, in order for me to play Kashtira in Harpies, I still have to purchase Kashtira Unicorn and Kashtira Birth, which are very expensive, as you can see. So, you're probably not going to play them, ultimately, and that's sort of the point. I mean, you could play, I didn't put Kashtira Ogre or Scareclaw Cash or anything in there, so you could play those. And I also didn't put Kashtira Theosis in there either. So they are very cheap. You can play the little guys. But, if you want both Birth and Unicorn, you have to pay a pretty penny if you want to play a playset of both. And Fenrir is banned. I'm sure you saw that, but yeah, Fenrir is banned. So, yeah, just to give you an idea of what the format is like. This is effectively the format. And again, this will be on a weekly basis. It'll be very interesting. Just ignore that stats center. That's from the Pokemon days. We were all goofing around having a good time. Anyways, with that being said, if you guys are interested in this format, I will leave a link in the description down below for you to join the Discord. And if you have any questions, any further questions, you can feel free to ask me in the Discord, or you can ask anybody else that's there. I'm sure everyone else has a pretty good understanding of it for the most part after watching this video. That being said, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Rate, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the future in this event. I'll see you guys at the event. Peace out, gamers.